Hello and welcome to HEC Career Hub. Let me ask you a quick question. If there is a hazard on your job site, what do you do? Do you hand out helmets? Do you put up a warning sign? Do you write a procedure? Most people, honestly, their first instinct is PPE, personal protective equipment like gloves, helmet, safety boot. Done, and that is one of the biggest mistakes in workplace safety because there is much smarter ways to deal with hazard. These smarter ways are called hierarchy of controls. Five level, simple logic, incredibly powerful. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to explain every single level in plain English with real life example you will actually remember. By the end, you will never look at a safety problem the same way again. So let's go. The hierarchy of control is basically a ranking system. It says when you have a hazard, here are your options, and they are ranked from most effective to least effective. The idea is simple. Don't jump to the easy answer. Try the best answer first. There are five levels. Level 1, elimination. Level 2, substitution. Level 3, engineering control. Level 4, administrative control. Level 5, PPE. This is not fixed. Recently, between level 3 and 4, there is added a new one, which is warning. So it's changing, but for now, we will discuss this. Notice something about this list. As you go down the level, you are not actually getting rid of the hazard. You are just managing it more promptly, trying to stay out of its way. But at level 1, the hazard is gone. It cannot hurt anyone. That's why the order matters so much. Let's break down each level with the real story for each one. Elimination, which is level first. And this one is my personal favorite because it's the most honest answer to a hazard. Elimination means you remove the hazard completely, not manage it, not control it. Remove it. It's gone. It cannot hurt anyone anymore. Let me give you a clear example for this. Imagine a worker on a construction site are painting the exterior of a tall building. Every day they are working at height 10, 15, 20 meters up. Fall from height is a serious risk. Now, most companies would immediately think PPE like harness, nets, etc. But elimination mindset asks a different question. Do we actually need workers up there? And in many modern projects, the answer is no. Ground level prefabrication, drone painting technology, modular panels installed by crane. No worker working at height. Hazard eliminated. The hazard is gone. It is not managed. It is completely gone. Now I will be honest with you. Elimination is not always possible. Sometimes the hazard is just a fundamental part of the work. But here is the rule. You always ask the elimination question first. Before anything else. Every single time. Can we just not do this in a dangerous way? That question alone has saved more lives than any amount of PPE. Level 2, substitution. Okay, so elimination was not possible. The hazard has to be there for the work to happen. Now you ask, can I replace it with something less dangerous? Same job, same result, but with less harmful version of the hazard. Here is a classic example from real life. For years, many painters and coating workers use solvent-based paints. These paints release toxic fumes, VOCs, volatile organic compounds. Breathe them in enough times and you are looking at serious lung damage, liver damage, cancer risk. Now, can we eliminate painting altogether? Usually, no. The building still needs to be painted. But can we substitute the solvent based paint with the water based one? Yes, absolutely. And in many industries have done that exactly. Same courage, same durability, but the toxic fume risk drops dramatically. That process, this phenomena is called substitution. You don't really remove the task, you just made the material safer. Another great example, manual handling of a heavy material. Instead of using traditional heavy concrete blocks, switching to lightweight composite panel that achieve the same structure result, workers still do the job, but the injury risk from the weight is drastically reduced. Key thing to remember though, make sure your substitution is genuinely safer. Sometimes people swap one chemical for another without actually checking whether the new one is actually less hazardous. Always check the safety data sheet SDS before you substitute. Level 3, Engineering Control. Now we are in the middle of the hierarchy, and this level is really important because it's where a lot of practical permanent solution lies. Engineering control means you physically redesign or modify something. That something may be equipment, the environment, the workspace, to put a barrier between the worker and the hazard. And here is what I love about engineering control. They work even when humans are not paying attention. Think about a machine guard. If a rotating shaft has a physical metal guard around it, and a worker is distracted, tired, or just made a mistake, they literally cannot put their hand into the danger zone. The metal stopped them. That's not relying on them to remember. That's a physical barrier. Another great example is ventilation system. In a welding workshop, toxic fumes are generated every time a weld is made. You can tell worker don't breathe in it, but they're just words. Or you install a rocker exhaust ventilation system that pulls the fumes away at the source before they even reach the worker's breathing zone. Engineering, physical, permanent. Lockout, tagout, or lotto is another huge one, especially for electrical work. The machine is physically locked, so it cannot be switched on while someone is inside it. That's not a warning sign, that's a mechanical lock. The key advantage of engineering control, they don't rely on human behavior. Human forget, human gets tired, human make mistake. A well-designed engineering control works regardless of this. Level 4, Administrative Control. Now we move into territory that most organizations are very comfortable with. Policies, procedures, training, permit, signage, and don't get me wrong, these are important, really important. But here is the honest truth about administration control. The hazard is still there. You haven't removed it. You haven't substituted it. You haven't put a physical barrier around it. You have just changed how people behave around it. And the limitation of that is people sometimes don't follow the rules. They get tired. They are rushing. They forget. They take shortcuts. A great example, noise induced hearing loss in industrial setting. You cannot always replace a noisy machine immediately. So what do? You rotate workers. Worker A does 2 hours near the machine, then worker B takes over. Worker A's total nights exposure stays within safe limit. The work that worker that works if workers actually rotate as planned, if the schedule is followed, if supervision enforced it. That's a lot of F's. Another example is permit to work system. Hard work near flammable material require a formal signed permit from a competent person. That's an administrative control and it saves life, but when it is actually followed. Use administrative control. They are valuable, but never use them as a substitute for engineering or higher level control when those are achievable. Level 5 PPE Personal Protective Equipment. And now we reach the level that, honestly, gets way too much attention in most workplaces. PPE Personal Protective Equipment. Helmet, gloves, harness, safety boot, goggles, respirators. Let me be very clear about something. PPE does not remove the hazard. The chemical is still in the room. The object can still fall. The noise is still happening. The electricity is still there. PPE just puts something between you and that hazard. And it only works if you are wearing it correctly every time and if it's the right PPE for the specific job hazard. And here is a real story that illustrates this. A worker is using a strong solvent to clean equipment. The company's safety solution is wear rubber gloves. But the gloves are the wrong chemical resistant rating for that specific solvent. The worker wear them, feels protected, work for 6 hours. The solvent slowly permeates through the gloves. Skin absorption. Over month, the worker developed a serious health condition. They were wearing PPE, but the wrong PPE against a hazard that should have been substituted. See the problem. PPE is the last line of defense. It's what you use after you have already tried elimination, substitution, engineering, and administrative control. It's the safety net at the bottom, not the wall at the top. Use PPE always, but never use it as an excuse not to pursue better control. Let me now put all 5 levels side by side using one real scenario. A worker is using an angle grinder, sparks, metal fragments, eye hazard, real and common. How do you apply each level? Elimination level 1. Is there a cold cutting method that achieves the same result without generating spark at all? If yes, use it. No spark, no eye hazard, problem gone, completely eliminated. Level 2 Substitution. Can you use a water jet cutter or laser cutter? Same cut, no fragment flying, much safer. Level 3 will be engineering control. Install a physical spark guard, an enclosure or screen around the grinding area. Fragment cannot reach anyone outside it. Level 4 will be administrative control. Restrict all grinding to a designated area. Exclusion zone for anyone not directly involved. Supervisor must be present. And the last level will be 5, which is PPE. Worker wear full face shield and safety goggles. Now look at level 3, 4 and 5. The sparks are still frying. They are still there. The hazard is still there. Only at level 1 and 2 did you actually address the root of the problem. This is why the hierarchy tells you to always start at the top, which is elimination and substitution, and work your way down only when the level above genuinely is not achievable. Here is something really important that I want you to understand. In real life, you almost never use just one level of control. The smartest safety program lever multiple control on top of each other. Think of it an onion or like the wall of a fort. Each layer is a line of defense. If one fails, the next one catches the problem before it becomes a tragedy. Let's take confined space entry, one of the most dangerous tasks in any industry. Engineering control will be ventilation fan running continuously to push in the fresh air. Engineering control, a continuous gas monitor with an alarm inside the space. Administrative control will be permit to work system. Supervisor must sign off before anyone enters. Administrative control may also include buddy system. One trained person stays at the entry point at all times. PPE will be the worker inside wear a full face SCAVA, self-contained breathing apparatus. PPE will be maybe a rescue harness with a retrieval line should be. So if someone collapses, they can be pulled out without anyone else going in. Six layers of control, all working together. Now, could you still do this with just PPE and a permit to work? Technically, maybe, but if the gas monitor was not there, and the ventilation failed, and the worker's Kaaba had a fault, where could, where would you be? Layers, always layers. The hierarchy tells you which levels to aim for. Real world safety programs tell you to use as many level as possible all together at the same time. Before we wrap up, let me quickly flag the three mistakes I see most often. Mistake 1, jumping straight to PPE. There is an acid spill hazard in a plant. Company response, give everyone acid resistant gloves and aprons. Done? Problem solved? No, not really. That acid is still there. The correct approach is, can we eliminate it, substitute it with something less corrosive, engineer a fully closed piping system so nobody is ever exposed to it. PPE is the last resort, not the default answer. Mistake 2, using a lower level control when a higher one is achievable. A machine is so loud it's causing hearing damage. The company response, job rotation, 2 hours per worker maximum. That's an administrative control. Level 4. But the noise is still there. Could the machine be enclosed? Tempered with noise absorbing material? Could a quieter model be purchased? Those are engineering control. Level 3. And they are better. Far better. Don't settle for level 4 when level 3 is achievable. Mistake 3. Control on papers only. The procedure was written 3 years ago, training was done once, the form was filled, but nobody is actually following any of it. This is the most dangerous mistake of all. A control that exists only in a document is not a control at all. Go to the site, physically verify, are the guard in place? Is the ventilation actually running? Is the permit system actually being used? Document don't save lives. Document don't save life. They help to implementation, do better implementation and physically verify. So we have to be present and verify things before we finalize our documents. Here is your quick reference card. Screenshot this slide, save it, print it, put it on your desk. Share it with your team. Every time you face a hazard, go through this in order. Level 1. Can we remove the hazard entirely? Yes, do it. Done. Level 2. Can we replace it with something safer? Yes, do it. Level 3. Can we build a physical barrier between the person and the hazard? Yes, do it. Level 4. Can we change how the work is done to reduce exposure? Yes, do it. Level 5. What equipment protects the individual? Always include this, but never only this. Never Only rely on this option. Always start at the top. Go down only when the level above genuinely is not achievable. And when possible, combine multiple layers and levels. This is not complicated. It's not a long process. It's a 30-second mental checklist that, if you apply it consistently, will change the safety culture of your workplace. Now that's hierarchy of control, explained simply with real example. Let me leave you with one thing I want you to walk away with today. The next time someone on your side say, just give them PP and it will be fine, I want you to pause, take a breath, and say, have we asked whether we can eliminate this hazard first? That question, that one question, is the difference between a reactive safety culture and a genuinely proactive one. It is the difference between a workplace where people get hurt and we write incident report, and a workplace where the hazard was never there in the first place. Okay, if this video was useful to you, please hit the like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more HEC professionals who need this content. Subscribe if you haven't already. We drop new HEC content every single week. Certification, career guidance, technical topics, all of it. Drop a comment below. Tell me which level of hierarchy your organization use the most and which one they should be using more. I read every comment, I will reply. And share this with someone in your team who needs to understand this concept. Thank you so much for being here. Stay curious, stay safe. See you in the next one.